Welcome back, guys. Today I want to talk about another thing that has me very jazzed up: solar energy. More specifically, the solar deployment that I had installed on my house late last year. It's finally up and running, and I've had a couple of weeks to experience the difference and wanted to share my experience thus far with anyone who may be interested in having solar installed themselves. Now, to get a full scope of what solar would mean for you, you must take a full year's worth of data, so I intend on making an update video after having the panels installed and operational for 1 year, so stay tuned for that. My installation was done by a company called Rising Sun Solar, operating out of the Midwest. Installation was a little nerve-wracking given that they cut out part of my basement to connect to my breaker box, as well as drilled holes through my foundation and roof. But the nice thing is that the whole installation took only a few days to be completed. Now, my system is an 8.76 kilowatt hour system with an estimated power consumption offset of 49%. That means, on average, 51% of my power comes from the grid and 49% comes from my panels. It's worth noting that this is before any changes to how I consume power are put in place, like doing laundry or running the air conditioner while the sun's out. Moving those heavily power-consuming things to while the solar is running stands to help drive down my reliance on the grid even further. I also intend to break down the math of having a battery system installed in my house to retain extra power harvested during the day. While I do get a credit for the power I put back into the grid during the day, it's not a one-to-one offsetting cost for the power that I'm using from the grid. To put it simply, a percentage of how much I pay for power from the grid goes to grid access costs, taxes, etc. When putting surplus power back into the grid, I'm not returned those fees, as I'm technically still using the grid to return power. With this in mind, I'd rather keep any power I produce. The installation of my solar panels and supporting components came in at just over $32,000. After my 26% tax credit, that cost comes down to just under $24,000. Month over month, if I pay only the minimum for the loan on the installation, I would end up paying about a 3 to 5% premium for my electric bill plus solar versus my standard electric bill before having solar installed. Given that reality, depending on where you live, it's tough to say no to going green. Let's take a look at the hardware installed on my house. The belle of the ball, of course, are the panels. I have 24 REC 365 watt AA black panels. As the name suggests, these are 365 watt panels with MC4 connectors that currently sit at the higher end of efficiency and output in the market. They come with a 20-year warranty and are slated for 92% efficiency even after 25 years of use. For each panel, I have an Enphase IQ7 microinverter rated at about 97% efficiency. Tying everything together, I have an Enphase AC combiner box. This combiner box is what consolidates all of the solar energy into one current via the inverter. It also offers other functionalities such as relaying data to my online portal, energy monitoring, under or over current protection, and remote safety shutdown as well. All of these devices, plus a couple other auxiliary things, is what brings this 8.76 kilowatt system to life. The system has only been live for a couple of weeks now, and given that we're still in the winter months and that I live in the Midwest, the results so far are all over the board. I'm excited to see what this system can do in the summer when the days are longer and the sun is higher in the sky. Again, I do intend on producing a 1-year review video to recap my experience with my system, so be sure to sub if that interests you. One other neat thing that I'm excited to begin working on are solar-based automations. If you saw my smart home walkthrough video, you'll know that I have a Sense energy monitor installed that monitors power consumption and solar production and updates multiple times a second. I now have my Sense energy monitor tied into my home automation deployment, and I'm brainstorming further ways to save money with automations. Things like, when power consumption overtakes solar production, turn off all major lighting systems upstairs. Maybe an automation that also turns my AC from 69 to 72 when consumption overtakes production. I'm still mulling over this, so if you have any recommendations, be sure to drop them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for my 1-year recap video.